Good morning, Mother Oafers. It is Friday, March 22nd. I am Dave Bernard, your favorite fat man. And for those of you that are on Facebook, this is a new adventure for you. I normally stream on my channel Oaf Life, and I've been doing this since January 6th of this year, but because of the topic that seemed to trigger everybody a little bit the other day, I decided that we would go ahead and start streaming, or maybe not start, but at least today start the day off streaming on my regular Facebook page. And so we're gonna have a discussion about failure. If you're new to the stream, if you're new to seeing this, again, my name is Dave Bernard. If you're on Facebook, you know that because we're on my personal page. I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. January 4th of this year, I was supposed to have a hernia operation. And on January 3rd, in my pre-op meeting with the surgeon, he basically said that at my current weight, that I would likely have significant complications in the recovery process, and that he didn't feel comfortable that I would have a successful surgery without using something called biomesh. After thinking about it for a little bit of time, decided that it made more sense to wait until I lost some weight. The other thing that's really fun about lives, again for anybody that's new, is that the camera likes to freeze up. We just got an update today on the Zwift game, and I'll talk about that here in a second. And I think that's causing a small issue here to where I freeze up. You also notice that I'm wearing sunglasses this morning, and that's because I finally got a prescription pair of sunglasses and I can actually see with them, as opposed to my nerdy old glasses. And the intention of the glasses were really for cycling, not indoors, to look like a dork like I do now, but yeah, what the hell, right? So, again, backstory. Surgeon basically said, you need to lose some weight, you need to get down to a BMI of 35, which for me will be 244 pounds, and so that's what I'm doing, man. I decided to do it on a bike and stay out of the weight room just because of the hernia that I have. And so I am on my Raleigh Willard 2 gravel bike attached to a Wahoo Kickr 18. And of course we're on this game called Zwift. And I am streaming through OBS software attached to another software called Restream.io. I have a Vixia HFR 400 camera attached to an Elgato Cam Link. All kinds of nerdy stuff. This really doesn't matter. The point that we are on here today, and that I've decided to do this on my personal Facebook page, is because I do a thing every week where I have a weigh-in Wednesday. And you'll see on the ticker down there below, I keep that wide open to everybody. Complete transparency. Most of you will also remember the transformation I had in 2012, which was an 8-month transformation, 90 days at a time. And back then, all you saw was the success I had. You didn't see the roller coaster. When I weighed in on Wednesdays, I always lost a little bit of weight, or at least I didn't gain any weight. Behind the scenes, a lot of times that meant I was working my ass off Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning before I finally weighed in. So it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies, as I like to say. There were the ups and downs, and what I had realized in that, and I only recently realized it, was that it wasn't fair to those of you that were following me and were finding some form of inspiration for your own transformation journey. And it wasn't intentional, but I didn't feel comfortable admitting that I had failed throughout the week. But the fact is you do, and I did. So this time I decided to do something a little bit different and share that journey 100% transparent with you. And so if I didn't meet a goal, you'd see it. If I gained weight, it'd be right there. There would be no hiding it, because I knew that it was going to help more people, showing the entire journey instead of just the success. The fact is, I will get to 244 pounds by January of 2020, which is the goal. I've set a bunch of mini goals to get there. I've set a 90-day goal, which is to be at 270 pounds by June, I think, 3rd. And even shorter goals, such as last week where I made the attempt to lose 10 pounds. Now, that is a relative goal for me. Extremely achievable. As fat as I am, as much water weight as I hold, shouldn't be a problem. I failed to meet that goal. I used the language fail. And man, oh man, did that trigger the world. When I said I failed, I started getting comments all over different social media platforms. And oh, by the way, this is being streamed on Twitch, YouTube Live, and Facebook. All at the same time. So you'll see some people chime in here from other platforms if you look closely at the chat that's on the screen. Again, nerd stuff. But anyways, so as I posted that I had failed to meet my goal, people were triggered about the word fail and that it was negative language, and for some reason to them it was self-defeating language, and I should never use it. And I know I'm not wired that much different than most people, but I can tell you that for me personally, and it's why I decided to stream on my personal page today, failure is not a negative word to me. It is just a matter of fact. And I, in some respect, in a very passive aggressive way, handled that the other day through a blog on hopelife.com, writing about failure and what it means to me. But I also thought that, you know what, let's go ahead and get out here and make this our topic for today, Friday, March 22nd, 2019. See, for me, I guess failure could be a possible negative word to some people, and maybe even myself at times, but it really just depends on what that goal is. So my goal is so strong, we'll talk about that in a bit. Well, my goal to lose this weight, my reason why, is very deep rooted and strong, that failing doesn't stop me. Failing will motivate me, especially if I know that I should have done better, that I could have done better. And I can reflect in these short little challenges that the errors or mistakes I made are only my fault. And that I need to just get up and get going and work harder, stay more committed, don't give in. It's a daily challenge, it always will be. But because I know I need to do it, and because my why is so strong, the fact that I use the word failure does not mean anything negative for me at all. it pisses me off, but it also pisses me off because I know I could have done differently. If you could have stayed on the journey with me, and this is, I'm not blaming anybody, I'm not finding anybody at fault for giving me the words of encouragement. I love it. However, the mistake I made was I shared the weight loss journey in a very small manner on my personal Facebook page, and people weren't along for the journey, so they didn't have any reference as to what was going on. All they saw was that chart or that comment. Most of them don't know me very well. They don't know that I actually have a background in exercise sciences. I actually have a degree in it. I've been training since I was 12 years old, and sure, I got heavy when I started my career, but that all started to change. And yeah, sure, I'm heavy again, but part of that's because I was powerlifting. So they don't know the whole story. They also don't know that I've been through it before, man. You know, I get it. I understand what I have to do. I do have issues. There are issues that all of us have. I have issues when it comes to overeating. I have issues with some poor choices that I make at times. Hell, years ago I used to smoke, you know, and I overcame that. So I don't fault anybody for their comments. I just thought that because I made the choice to share it publicly the other day, that I owed you guys this video so you can see what's been going on and how I'm pursuing achieving this goal. Right now I cannot weight lift in a safe manner, and it's not that I couldn't do some strength training, it's that I don't trust myself in a regular gym not to throw every single plate I could on a bar to prove to really nobody that I can lift more than everybody else. It's an ego thing, and I know the best way for me to combat or to be safe is for me not to be in the weight room. So I chose cycling. I chose cycling for a few reasons, and by the way, I wholeheartedly believe it is not the best way to lose fat at all, nor is running. So, and we can discuss that at maybe a different video, a different time, but at the end of the day, I'm on my bike because I have to do something, right? Just have to do something. Hey, good morning, Mary. So the biking app that I am using is called Zwift, Z-W-I-F-T. It is considered a game. It has a world, several different worlds. The primary world that you can ride in is called Watopia. However, it does have bike paths in New York City, London, and various other parts of the world. It's been around quite a long time, and it keeps growing and getting better all the time. So these other people here are also riding their bikes similar to me, and they could be from anywhere in the world, and you'll see the flags representing the countries they are from. Now the way mine's set up, you will see primarily people closest to me and or in a similar level. I am at a shitty level because I am fat. and the system knows that. So the system knows that I'm around 300 pounds. It knows that I'm 5'10", and those are the two primary measurements that it's using to determine the resistance inside of the game. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty nice app. It keeps it from being just a boring old ride. And again, I know a lot of you guys are new, but this actually helps me streaming to actually ride, for the commitment that I've made to ride Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings for an hour. Because there's a whole lot of fiddling going on as it relates to the chat, the software to stream, and the game itself. And so as I'm walking through all these steps to keep this thing going, plus exercise, most of the time I find that I don't even realize I've been on the ride or on the bike that long. You'll also notice that pretty much everybody passes me because they're in better shape than I am, or they're shorter than me, or they weigh less than me. All of those are factors in this game. If somebody wanted to cheat, which I don't see the point, they could make themselves shorter and lighter. That would help them cheat. But it's not the purpose. So it's not a perfect game. It doesn't force people to measure themselves in a way that is necessarily honest. And yeah, it would be easier, but pointless for what my goal is. So the algorithm does care how tall you are. It gives shorter people less wind resistance. So if I was 6'4", it would consider that a bigger sail for the wind to resist against. And of course, instead of 300 pounds, if I weighed 150 pounds, it would also make life easier. But again, not the point. And by the way, I only know the cheat because as I've learned how to do all this is all new to me. January 6th is when I started all of this. Learning how to stream, learning how to Zwift, setting up my bike, setting up cameras, using green screen. I mean, all of it. Well, I shouldn't say all of it. Some of the stuff I knew how to do before because I'm a bit of a nerd. But anyways, back to the topic. Failure. The trigger word, failure. Guys, it's not a, it's just an event. It's just a thing. I failed, as a matter of fact. It's not a negative word to me. It never will be. It never, I don't think ever really has been. You know, and I believe that that's because of my sports background. That I've been brought up that way. You don't win every battle. You don't win every game. You know, you fail. And it's cliche, but it's not about failing. It's about what the hell are you going to do next? And maybe you call that a mantra. I don't know. But for me, yeah, I failed to meet my goal. It's awesome that I lost over 8 pounds, but I failed to meet my goal. I wanted to get down to 300 pounds. I didn't. By the time I finished my ride on Wednesday, I was 301.6 pounds. At 5 o'clock that morning, I was 305 pounds. At 7 o'clock that morning, I was 304, 303, somewhere in there. Still didn't meet my goal. At the end of the ride, we weighed in again. One of the viewers wanted to see where I was at. And so I was at 301.6, I think was the number. It was 301 something. 0.6, 0.2, 0.8, I don't remember. It was point something. I just decided that 0.6 was close enough. So I do use an app called Lose It. Son of a bitch. I do use an app called Lose It that is a Bluetooth app that takes the information from my scale and puts it on my phone, but it doesn't always transfer. That scale is a little beat up. It's been around since the 2012 days. It's missing a back plate, so it doesn't always work. However, what it does do is when it does work, it gives a perfect timestamp of exactly where I am, whether I've gained weight or lost weight. It does provide other data, such as hydration and body fat, but those numbers are so effing jacked. They're not real, so I don't share those with anybody because I know they aren't real. They're very far off. So again, the word failure to me is that's not a negative word. And I get why people, were triggered or freaked out about it the other day. I understand it, but I think that in some respect for me, it's dangerous for people to use those kind of words and put out there the assumption that it's negative. It's almost the reason that our kids are, I'm gonna use a good word or a better word than what I'm thinking. It's part of the reason that our kids are wussified these days. We don't talk about failure. We give them participation trophies. We pat them on the back for just trying. And we tell them, don't feel bad about it. Well, you know what? Life isn't fair, man. You will fail. And to understand it and know how to react to it, to me, is the better lesson than telling people don't use negative language of failure. F that, man. You failed. Man up or woman up. Whatever it is, whoever you are, or however you identify, whatever your pronoun is. Be an adult, man. You failed. Do something about it. What am I doing about it? I'm back on the bike. I'm recommitting to a new goal, which, by the way, is to get down to 299 pounds by next Wednesday and crush this effing 300-pound nonsense. And the reality is, because of my weight, again, it's relative, it is doable. That 301.6 was gone within hours. I was probably back up to at least 305 just by hydrating myself. So would it be a natural thing for me to think that I failed because I gained a few? No, it's all right, man. That's okay. That's not a big deal. That's why I set these weekly goals. There's a reason I weigh in every day, at least on days I know I did try. I didn't cheat, because I want to see what is and isn't working for me. And sometimes, and I know this again through an experience of 2012 and a lifetime of knowledge when it comes to health and wellness, physiology, kinesiology, nutrition and diet. And I'm applying what I know to me. But knowing doesn't mean shit. It's doing. Doing is all that matters. It doesn't matter that I know what to do. It matters that I effing do it. And so I fail at that quite often. I fail, but I have a mindset of just don't do it again. So if I have a cheat meal, if I slip up and grab the donut, just don't do it again. Don't grab a second donut. Don't cheat the next day. If I have a mental issue and decide that I'm gonna eat like shit all weekend, then start the next week off good, man. Don't worry about it. So I screwed up. So I gained some weight. I know why. Now, if I was doing everything perfect and right and still was failing, well, then I might have a reason to be a little upset or feeling down. But even in that case, I'd just go back and get some blood work done and sit down with my doctor and figure out what the hell's going on. Because for me, it's probably a blood level of some sort, whether it be cholesterol, sodium, vitamin D, blood sugar, blood pressure. It could be any one of those things. Those are all issues that I medicate for right now. Or it could be a case, and that could be a lack of medication or too much. By the way, when you're going through your journey, you have to go see your doctor and get your blood work, especially when you're old as F. Oh, if you wanted to know what it stood for, it's what it stands for. You're going to have to see your doctor and get those blood tests more often, just to modify any medication that you happen to be on, because it will hurt you to take too much also. And as you lose weight, as you get healthier, you have to make those modifications. So as I preach, I will also be going in sometime in the next 7 days to get more blood work done. Because I am doing more cardio, my cholesterol medication, I promise you, needs to be changed. And by the way, if your medication isn't working, try exercising, try throwing in more cardio, and see how that helps you. There's no doubt that your body will circulate better when you start doing cardio, and your medications will start to work better. If you start noticing any major differences in how you feel, get to your doctor immediately, because there's a good chance that what may not have worked a few weeks ago might actually finally be working and might have to be changed. And this whole thing should be done through a doctor, no matter which way you look at it. Don't do it on your own. Now, my only criticism of most physicians is when it comes to nutrition and or diet, they are not trained. 99.9%, matter of fact, 100% of them, for their doctorate degree, for their general physician's degree, are not trained in nutrition. Yes, there are some that are hobbyists, no different than the kid who went out and trained for 20 years and got himself a little certificate. Their knowledge base is very similar. The only difference is that your physician will have and should have a better understanding of physiology and how medications may affect you. And I also am of the mindset that natural holistic methodology is probably good for most. However, when you're in an extreme situation, don't be a fool. Take the medication and then get off your ass and do something so you can either reduce that medication and or eliminate it altogether. So don't just let your hippity-dippity ways be the way that you treat everything, because though modern medicine is an ugly word to most of us, the reality is it still can save your life. I see that we've had quite a few people jump in here from Facebook. You guys can't see that on the screen because I'm not sharing that information for their own privacy. However, if you are watching, I would appreciate a thumbs up. For whatever reason, for me, knowing that you're there actually helps me. As crazy as that may sound, it motivates me to get off my ass and get up and do it. I'm one of these people that has to believe that I'm doing this for more than just myself. I don't know why that motivates me differently than just doing it, but I've surmised that it means that I have to feel as if there's a bigger purpose than just me or just my own personal health. Again, I'm sharing this live somewhat for me, but I'm also sharing it for you. And so what I mean by that, and we'll show if I can find it, my glasses, these wonderful brand new glasses are now fogging up on me. That's awesome. So what I'll show right now. So this was pre 7 a.m. Wednesday morning, and I wish you could see a little bit better detail, but what you see there is you'll see the ups and the downs. That's just the way life is, man. it's not all rainbows and butterflies, as I so eloquently, I can't even speak, guys, as I tend to say sometimes. So again, I'm doing this because I have to. I have to have this surgery. And by the way, I will have the surgery eventually if there becomes an emergency situation before next January. I am waiting. I've been asked this several times. Why are you waiting until January? Well, one, I think that it's a safe way to lose the amount of weight that I'm trying to lose, so that I'm not trying to lose it all, you know, all at once. That I continue to have that goal to get down to that BMI of 35 or 244 pounds. But it's also an insurance reason. So, ladies, if you're trying to figure out how a man's mind works, and I'm not saying yours doesn't work the same at times, but most men think this way. So, I have a deductible. If I have the surgery later on this year, so let's say that I did it in an 8-month period of time, that would mean that sometime in October that I could schedule my surgery if I look back at how I was able to do it in 2012. The problem with that is the deductible. It won't be different in October versus January, but if for some reason I need to have another emergency anything, well, my deductible will have only been met throughout the 2019 calendar year, and it'll reset in 2020. So as long as I'm still safe, as long as I'm not at risk, then waiting until January to have the surgery, meeting that deductible for insurance, then I get to wait I have the rest of the year for anything else that may occur that I may have a deductible I have to deal with. And so some people just call me being a tightwad. I like to think it's being smart, but I guess we'll find out. And those are the things that I'm sharing on this journey. Now, we do have a lot of topics, and I don't know that I'll keep this on my regular Facebook Live. I may switch back over to just my Oaf Life page while I share all this with you guys. It's like the old headband has to come off, and we lost the glasses, so. But I have also, if you've been following the journey on the other channels, I've also been testing these headbands out. I wear a company called Zwift headbands, Sleeves. You'll see that up in the upper right hand corner. And I have a bit of a partnership with them. And so when people go and buy their product, and they either go through a link I share, or if they use the code OAFLIFE40, they'll get a discount. So I have a partnership with Sleeves. But the hotter it gets in the year, or the more I sweat, I'm just getting too much sweat in my eyeballs. And so I switched over to another company called Junk Brand, which I have their headbands, which is what I was wearing. They're better. They seem to be a little better, but they're not that much better. The overall winner of the keep the sweat out of Dave's eyes has just been the old $1 cotton bandana. Now, you don't run into the same issues as much when you're outdoor riding, because you have the wind in your face, and that cools you down or keeps you cool. But when you're riding indoors, you know, you don't have that same wind in your face to keep you cool. I do have a fan above my head. I need to get a fan in front of my face, but right now I don't have that, so you just get to see the old chrome dome instead. So we're going to switch over now that the music is changing. I'm going to see if I can switch over to something else here. So as this topic is, if I can find it here. So today's topic, again, being failure.
You put in the extra work, makes you take ridiculous.
I don't know. I mean, you can use your own conspiracy theory of whether or not Google is listening. But this popped up as I was preparing for today's ride. You know? So listen in. I'll jack up the sound a little bit just so you can hopefully hear it.
They don't stop at 10 failures. They don't stop at 100, 1,000, or 1,000,000. They say, this is my
Failure's
goal,
not a negative word, guys.
Whatever it takes
It's a fact.
It
happens.
I will learn the lessons from any failure.
What do you do? How do you handle it? How do you deal with it?
I will work hard.
Listen.
I will work smarter. And I will not quit until my dream is a reality. That's the difference between success and failure.
Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. You have to get comfortable with failure. You have to actually seek failure. Failure is where all of the lessons are. You know, when you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually seeking failure. You want to take your muscles to the point where you get to failure, because that's where the adaptation is. That's where growth is. Successful people fail a lot. They fail a whole lot more than they succeed. They extract the lessons from the failure, and they use that, the energy, and they use the wisdom to come around to the next phase of success. Gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You gotta live where you're almost certain you're gonna fail. The reason for practice. Practice is controlled failure. You're getting to your limit, getting to your limit, getting to your limit. You can't lift that, you can't do that, until you get to the point that all of a sudden your body makes the adjustment, and then you can do it. Failure actually helps you to recognize the areas where you need to evolve. So fail early, fail often, fail forward.
Failure makes winners strong. Failure makes winners hungrier. But it makes most give up. It makes most feel worthless. Winners don't enjoy failure, but they would never let failure stop them. Next time you encounter failure, you got to remember every great thing on this planet is here because the Creator learned what did work, but learned more from what did not work. When we are kids, we don't stop at failure. When we first learn to ride a bike, it's failure after failure. We get knocked down time after time, but we get up and push forward until we achieve our goal of riding the bike. But then we get old, and most of us get weak. We are too soft to get back on the bike. We come up with excuses. It must not be for me. No, you just soft. No, you just lazy. Tell yourself the truth. Get back on the bike. Learn why you failed, and make sure you don't fall again.
You know, you think about, why am I doing this?
For having the lesson.
What's the point of doing this live? What's the point of you guys watching me? What's the point?
Have a negative relationship with failure.
Well, think back to the first man that ever, and I can't remember his name, because my brain goes mushy when I ride. But think back to the first guy that ever ran the 4-minute mile.
Right now.
And how many people had ever done it before him? No one.
Tomorrow,
and how many people, how many hundreds of people have done it since him?
Today. You see yourself succeeding.
When I go through this challenge,
you have a dream,
and I succeed,
congratulations.
For some of you, it'll be enough for you to realize that you can do it too. That all the limiting thoughts that you had
Imagine if
why you couldn't do it
was scared of missing
were false. Because if I can do it, you can do it.
Imagine if Steve Jobs
and the ride
was
wasn't
afraid of
perfect.
people not liking his product.
I failed.
There would be no iPhone.
Many times as I
ask
succeeded.
yourself this.
Or as one of my best friends, Nick Logan, says, slow down to speed up.
Do you want to be a person who loves success?
It's okay.
Which one? You're going to have to pick today.
It's
And I'll tell
okay
you one thing.
not to get there.
One is a failure.
The idea is
and
don't
one
stop
is a
fighting.
success.
Don't stop fighting
If
for
you
what
love
it is
success,
you're trying to
there is
achieve.
nothing that can stop
For me,
you. All those
it's
negative
244
things
pounds.
will mean nothing.
What will happen when I get there?
They're
Well, of
gonna
course,
talk
I'll have a
about only
surgery,
1% naked
which
to
I
the top.
desperately need.
Big
But it
deal.
also means that
Wanna
I'll be
know
that much
something
closer
else?
to getting back into a weight room.
Only 1%
which for me, I enjoy.
stick with that fitness program long enough to see
I
results.
hope
Only 1%
I will have a
of
new
nerds
obsession
stick with that video
that will
game
replace the
long enough to
weightlifting,
get good at it.
which is
Only
cycling.
1% of relationships stick it out to the end. That doesn't mean
But
you
the side
have
effects
a 1% chance.
For me, of getting
It
down to
just means
244
you can't
pounds
behave
and less,
like the 99%. You'll
is
have
that
to do something better.
I won't be
than
on as much
giving up
medication.
A month from now.
I will use less
Those are just
medication and
numbers.
possibly none at all.
You want to talk about numbers?
I
Take a
can't
look
even
around
imagine
you and
it.
Take a good look around you.
So I don't think about that much.
Are you like 99%
What I am
of the
shooting
people
for
around you?
is a weight
If you are, then you're in a wrong
measurement
video, my friend. You have to
or
love
a
success
surgery
just as much because that's what's going to allow you
and a
to
new
get
lease
up
on
and
life
go for
again.
it. Being
That's what
scared
I'm
to
fighting
fail
for.
won't do anything.
And
in fact,
I'm fighting for it
when
because
you
I
love
committed to
success
it.
and you start
And I've
going
chosen
for
to
it,
go public with that commitment
guess what happens?
and to share
You're going to fail.
the journey with
You're
everybody.
going to fail 10 times.
So if I
100
fail,
times, maybe even 1,000
I will fail not
times.
only for myself,
But that's okay.
but for all of you
Failure
that need me to
isn't
succeed.
permanent. Falling isn't permanent.
Yes,
You
there
get
are some
right
of you that
back
want me to
up
fail.
and keep going.
And I will
this
fail.
time, you're
When
gonna
I
be
fail, I'll be
stronger,
satisfying
wiser,
your doubt.
and you'll be more driven than ever.
And for me, that is also a motivation.
And for every
Doubt
10
me,
failures,
Mother
you'll
effer.
land one success.
Doubt me
You have to
and
love
see what
success
happens.
so much that you're willing to fail 10 times before you can succeed once. That's how a winner does it.
Failure is not a negative word,
I
guys.
wanna
It's a fact.
explain
It's just an
the
event.
biggest myth that
Things
most
happen.
people think
You don't win
leads
every
them to
game.
Success. And here's the myth.
The scale doesn't always
You might
reflect
believe
the effort,
if you're scared to fail,
but it doesn't mean give up.
you won't fail.
It doesn't mean stop. You just got to
Lies.
keep moving, man. You got to
Biggest
keep moving
myth
forward.
Ever.
You got to shoot for the goal.
And I believed it. You see, I always thought that being
And I'm here to
scared
show
to
you
fail
that you
in life
can do it.
would literally
Even when you
keep
fail,
me
you can
from
continue
failing.
to succeed.
I would look at the losers around me and I would say, sheesh, I never want to turn out like him. I really believed this train of thought would help me succeed. Until one day, I was walking down the street and I saw an old man. Had a hat, suspenders, and a cane. Was about 80 years old. This old man was barely walking. He could walk, but the cane helped a lot. He was struggling. So anyway, he was walking across the street and he ended up falling. So I went over to go help him. And he gets up, says thank you, and we introduced ourselves. Had a little conversation. Told me his name and I told him mine. His name was Robert, by the way. And right as he walked away, I told him, this is what I said. Robert, you should stay inside where it's safe, my friend. And Robert turns around and says to me, I love walking. And I love walking way more than I'm afraid of falling. So I asked him, well, what about your safety? Don't you want to live? And he told me this. These are the exact words he said. He said this. Solo, living means doing what you love to do. And if I have to fall here and there to do what I want to do in life, then so be it. And he just walked away. Never saw him again. That was it. But that statement really had me thinking. And it had me thinking hard because I learned something that day. That's when I realized the true key to success. You see, I always thought if I could just fear the act of failing, and if I fear it like crazy, I will succeed. Because I thought the fear would magically motivate me to get out there and start taking action. But after that day, I realized something. I realized it's the love for success that will lead me to succeeding. So just imagine if Robert feared falling. Would he even start walking? Of course not. He wouldn't even do what he loved to do. He would sit at home and take no type of action. But he loved walking. Wasn't even scared to fall. It gave him life. That's what allowed him to get up and do it. He loved walking so much, he was willing to fall 10 times a day just to do it. And you have to be the same. So the next time someone tells you, you're gonna fail, you know what you tell them? Tell them they're right. But you're not afraid of it. You're not afraid to take action. You're not afraid to jump. You're gonna fail 10 times, but you know what? It's cool. Because on the 11th time, you'll succeed. Oh, you'll succeed on it. And it'll feel good. And while you're over here living the life of your dreams and complete happiness, guess where they're gonna be? That's right. They'll be failures, the real failures. Over there where it's safe. Scared to fail. Ironic, isn't it?
You know, a lot of people come up to me and they ask me, Marco, what is it that motivates you? And to answer their question, I reply back with a question. I say,
So some of you guys have watched
told you
or
that
noticed that
had 1 week
I've slowed down a lot.
to live.
What is happening,
Would you regret
if you look up
pursuing your dreams,
in the
passions,
far...
and desires? Would you regret not
Oh, there we
living
go.
your life
Freeze
to the
while I do
fullest?
that.
Would you regret not spending as much time
Look up
with
in that
family, friends, or loved ones?
far upper corner,
You know, Steve Jobs
and you'll
said in
see
his speech one time
that number
he
8.
used to wake up every morning, look
That
in
is the
mirror,
grade
and ask himself questions like
that I'm
this.
riding.
And he said that if the answer
And so,
was yes,
for
2
me,
days in a row,
a long
then you
climb
have
of
to change
8%
something. That should go
at over
for
300
all of us.
pounds
If you're living a life that you would not
is a little
be
much.
losing because
It's hard.
you were able to do things you wanted to do, then now you know that you need to
But
change.
you'll see at the top of this
Life
particular
is
hill, which I've
simply
already done
too
a loop already,
short and unpredictable.
You will
to
see
not live exactly the
that
way
will start going
that you
downhill quite a
please.
bit.
It is ridiculously unpredictable.
In the upper left-hand
It is
corner,
possible that on
you'll
any
notice
given
watts,
day to die at
and so
any point
that
throughout that
equates
day
to the
without
power
ever being able
or the
to see it
effort
coming. You know,
that I have
when
to
I was
push.
13,
The
I
lower
had
the
this
wattage,
teacher
the
who was an
easier the
absolutely amazing
pedaling.
person. I'd known him for
Below
several
that,
years then, and
you'll see
he
my
had 2 kids, a loving
blood
wife,
pressure,
he was a man of God,
or I'm sorry,
contributed to the
my
community.
heart rate,
He gave us
my beats per
everything
minute.
that he had, and he would
Next to
bike
that,
school every single
the
day.
RPMs,
I always remember him come to
which
school
is
on his
the
bike.
revolutions that
One morning
I'm
on his
pedaling.
way to school, it was early in the morning. He was
And
crossing
so
an
lower
intersection.
RPM
A reckless driver
with a higher wattage or similar wattage just means it's
dies
that much
on the
harder.
spot on the moment of impact. His death taught me so many valuable things in life, and one of them being that it went on to show
And so
that
a climb
no matter
like
how
this,
much you don't deserve
as long
to
as
die,
it is,
and no matter how
at
good of a
8%
person you
grade,
are, and no matter what your
sucks.
situation is, no matter anything, it goes to show that
A
death
quick one
is
isn't so
inevitable
bad for me.
and random, and it will
Almost like a
eventually
sprint.
consume
But
each
going on
and
for
every
minutes,
single one of us, whether it's in 50 years, in 10 years,
a little much,
next
man.
year, or even tomorrow. You
little
cannot
much.
control it. The people around you cannot control it. As long as you're at the wrong place at the
So we're getting ready to
wrong
head back
time,
downhill,
your whole
so it's
life
gonna get
could
easy
disappear
for a
in the
second
blink
again.
of an eye,
And of course, I
along
have to
with
switch
everything
gears
you wished
in order to
you
keep
could
it
have
up,
done. Whether you're
to
walking
keep my
down
wattage
the street, whether you're stepping into the elevator, whether
where it
you're
needs to
walking
be.
down the stairs, whether you're just existing. Listen, you'll see people from nowhere die of a heart attack. Gone. No family history, no symptoms, no
You'll also
causes,
notice that
nothing.
nearly
It
everybody
happens, and that's the
riding
cruel
today
life that we live in.
is better
It's
than me.
something that we cannot control. So what I want to make
And I don't
clear
really-
is that regardless
none of that
the
phases
path
me.
that
I'm not
you
on this
take
thing
in your
racing
life,
yet.
At one point, death
not trying to
will
compete.
consume you. It doesn't
All I'm
care
doing
whether you floss your
is just
teeth
trying
in
to
the morning,
survive
whether
the ride.
you raise a family or not, whether you go on to be rich.
If you guys
or
wanna follow
success or
along,
failure, whether,
if I do
whatever,
choose to go back to
you
my
are
Oak
still
Life
going to
channel on
die at
Facebook,
one point. It is
you
that
can-
simple. And knowing
you're
that
welcome
going
to join
die
me there
should be the biggest
Monday, Wednesday,
motivation to both make the difficult
Friday
decisions
mornings,
in life and to get your ass
7
out of
a.m.
bed.
Eastern time.
So now the question becomes, what is it that
you don't wanna
truly
watch,
have to
it's totally
lose?
fine.
If you
However, I
pursue
do
your
need you
dreams,
guys. Just don't think that I do this,
sure, you might be
and
a
I'm
little bit
capable
more
of
financially unstable.
motivating
You
only
might
myself.
experience stress or other feelings you wish you
I don't know if
never
it's a
had
narcissism
experienced,
or an
either way,
egotistical
even if you
thing,
fail,
but
you will end up
I
back
have to
where
feel
you
like I'm
started,
doing it
which is
for
where you are now. So
more
what
than
do you
just
literally
me.
have to lose? Some of you right now, you're thinking about maybe starting a business. You have a great idea that you want to
So knowing you guys are there
into your
actually helps me.
lifestyle.
You guys
Maybe
are
you're
part of
thinking
the
about pursuing
success
your dreams to the
just
fullest.
by
Maybe
showing
you're
up.
thinking about putting in the work to become a doctor, an engineer, a firefighter, a professional athlete. But some of you won't follow these ambitions because you're afraid.
Plus, if something bad
you're
happens,
afraid to fail. You let
it'll
the
be
fear
on
of
tape.
failure dictate your actions, and you're afraid of what mama or papa
And at least I
thinks,
would
or
hope
your
that somebody would
sister,
come
your
and
brother thinks, or your
find me.
grandpa or your grandma, or your cousins,
Nothing
or
bad's gonna
whoever.
happen,
But
so
what truly
my
matters
mom's watching,
is
don't
you.
worry.
You are in possession of a gift. You have a talent, and wherever that talent is, you can make yourself and the people around you a stronger and better place with it. But sometimes, the only way to do that is to take a risk. At one point, you have got to take a leap. If you want to make that
This is
gift
my
that
first
you
day
have
riding this particular
become
course.
a reality. Otherwise, society will gladly accept you
I
as a
don't
9
like
to
it.
5 slave working just to pay off
like
your
the
rent
easier
and to
courses.
stay alive and to live for the weekend, which
That
is
effing climb
the absolute worst
sucks.
way
It doesn't have a lot of
if you don't
elevation
jump.
in this particular
Believe me,
map.
if you don't pursue
think
your
it's maybe
gift,
77
you will live a life
meters
full
or
of
something
regret,
along those
and
lines.
Your gift, your dreams,
But,
everything that you ever had to offer to the world will die with you from first-hand experience.
which doesn't seem like much,
I am
but
pissed
it appears
off
to happen
at
all
myself.
in one
I'm
climb.
pissed off, and I regret
sucks.
so much.
Too much for me.
In my life, I can't even fathom explaining.
When I
it.
get
Not
down
about-
to my
not
goal
about
weight,
what I've done,
this climb won't
but
be
what
as
I
hard.
haven't done. All the opportunities
But
that
right
I
now,
turned down, and all the chances that I
sucks.
never took just because I was afraid or because I was worried about what other people think. And I officially decided to sit down. I sat down for weeks. I didn't just think of what I'm saying right now. I didn't think of it overnight. This is months. This is months of thinking, and I just sat down and I just wrote. And after comparing the randomness of death versus the chance of you failing while relentlessly pursuing your dreams versus the chance of you living a terrible life because you failed at pursuing your dreams versus just calling it a day right now and living a traditional Western world lifestyle versus everything you can think of versus absolutely everything. And I can gladly say that right now, as of this moment right here, I would rather live each day as if it were my last and take every risk possible in these sacred moments that I have on earth now to make myself as successful and happy as possible than to be sitting in my deathbed when I'm 90 years old regretting not taking a chance and thinking about what my life could have been if I just jumped when I was 18 or when I was 15 or when I was 22, because tomorrow is not a promise. I would rather die trying to live my dream than to live a longer life filled with regret. Life is too short and too unpredictable to live it. I've seen it firsthand. It is not worth it to live it safe, basic, and traditional. But do you know why most people choose to live that safe life over taking risks in their life? I mean, there's a pretty good argument not to. Why would you? Why would you take a risk that puts you through stress, puts your family through stress, makes you lose sleep, makes you lose time, makes you put in the extra work, makes you take ridiculous chances that are 1 to 1,000? You know, before I even continue, the fact that I'm even sitting here and talking is astonishingly ridiculous on its own. The chance of you being born is 1 to 400 trillion. That number is so big you cannot even wrap your head around it. But okay, what I wanted to say was that the reason why people don't want to take these risks is because right now they feel like they got a lot to lose and that their current situation is relatively nice. And most importantly, right now, they are comfortable. They got used to living basic within society standards, being with their friends every now and then, being well rested. They got comfortable. And when you get comfortable, you don't want to move. And that comfort zone, I like to call it the danger zone, because this comfort zone will persuade you to stay in there for as long as possible. And it is, I know how it is. I know the comfort zone. It is so convincing. It is so hard to escape comfort. I know. And as it persuades you to stay in there, you will literally, unconsciously, see, I'm so serious when I say this, you will literally see your whole life go right by you. And the main reason that I'm serious about this now is because I am pissed off for greatness. I want to move mountains. And like Ray Lewis once said, if you're not pissed off for greatness, then you're okay with being mediocre. And I am definitely not okay with being average. And I don't think anyone should. But anyways, to address why I'm even talking about any of this at all in the first place is because I recently got an offer to move out to Los Angeles, California to live with 2 other entrepreneurs as a content creator and media influencer. And it makes me sad because it's opened up my eyes to see what I truly have in store for me, what's waiting for me out there in the future. And it's just a tiny glimpse of what I'm capable of achieving within my short life. However, I doubt that I could get the right legal paperwork done in order to move to the US to work for a job such as YouTube, which is really not in control of the government. And the last thing that I want to do is to go to the US to work in a legal job as an illegal immigrant. So as of this moment, I feel like I have to pass up yet another opportunity. And it makes me feel like I just keep letting my dreams slip from my hands once more. And now that I've seen the reality of what is possible, this house in LA next to the beach on California with a huge city, great weather, and working a job that I would absolutely love and live for with people who share the exact same dream and vision, it has me thinking like, hell yeah, I would gladly die chasing this dream relentlessly than never chase it at all and play it safe and being trapped within my own mind of thinking about what my life could have been. I hope to do more videos like this where I speak because they're really like a therapy for me and it helps me get my mind off things and hopefully some people can be influenced by what I'm actually saying. I would also like to say that I think education is extremely important and plays a crucial role into bringing success into your life, and that knowledge is power. The best thing in life is to always have a backup plan and take into consideration what if something goes wrong. And it's something that every role model that I look up to tries to enforce, but I feel like education will always be here for me to come back to, whether I'm 20, 25, 40, or whatever. And I think that I have an amazing idea, vision, passion, and drive now in my peak and that I'm able to capitalize on, which makes me feel like I'm throwing it away if I don't pursue it. And the biggest response that I've been getting recently is, Marco, what if it fails? Which I mean, yeah, like, what if it fails? But that's the whole point of taking a chance with things like startup companies or entrepreneurship. It's ridiculously high risk. Like, what if I get hit by a car? What if I lose my wallet? Or better yet, what if this succeeds? You know, it's easy to be negative or to be closed-minded, but I think it's easier to be optimistic and to be open-minded. And please do yourself a favor, which is a separate topic on its own for another time, but try to surround yourself with people who impose and promote positivity and good vibes. You will notice the tremendous effect that it has on your lifestyle. Starting your own business or being self-employed, although preferable, doesn't exactly require any kind of diploma or degree. And I think that with a proper business plan and with the drive that people like you who are watching this video fuel me with, I feel like I can accomplish anything. If you're still listening, I love you, mad respect. That's true loyalty right there. If you're less, this has been Marco. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and goodbye.
A lot of things. I failed for funny things that I failed a key primary school test for 2 times, and I failed 3 times for the middle school. You know, for 3 years I tried to in the university. So I applied jobs for 30 times, got rejected. I went for a police. If you know, you're not good. I went to even the KFC. When KFC came to China, come to my state, 24 people went for the job. 23 people were accepted. I was the only one guy. And we went for police. 5 people, 4 of them accepted. I was the only guy that I received it. So for me, being turned down, rejected. Oh, by the way, I told you that I applied for Harvard for 10 times, rejected. I know if you reject, I just don't want to say that.
Yeah, sorry now.
One of the things you gotta understand, my friend, is that you're supposed to fail. You're supposed to fail because failure is the stepping stone to success. You need the logical reason why. Because failure is an experience that lends to wisdom that ultimately makes you a stronger version of yourself.
Maybe you got a test anxiety, I don't know. But the worst thing you can do is quit. Talk to your professor. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that you cannot quit. Just because you failed doesn't make you a failure.
Another one of these cliches or cliche stories. is about Thomas Edison, right? When a reporter asked him, you know, what is it, how did you feel about failing 1,000 times? And he said, no, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found 1,000 different ways that it wasn't going to work. And that's what's happening with you. But every time he found a way that didn't work, he was adding to his journey. He was growing stronger. He learned something. He discovered something. You are discovering something about yourself, and you're exercising your character every time you get up and try something, move in the direction of something, even if you don't get the thing. It's not about the thing. It's not about making the basketball team. It's not about making $1 million, and it's not about the light bulb. It's about what you learn along the way, who you become along the way, and you're on the journey. And guess what? The journey's hard. The journey is riddled with failure, and that's why most people don't do it. Most people aren't willing to get on that journey because they're afraid to fail. You, my friend, have failed. Congratulations. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to you because it shows that you're alive, it shows that you did something, and it shows that you're growing stronger. Now go and fail again. Bro, I hope you guys that watch these videos, I hope you're going to fail 1,000 times. Keep going out there and failing. You know what that means? Every time you fail, it means to me. It tells me that you're doing something.
See, a lot of people, because they don't want to make any mistakes, it takes us to the next level.
Are you looking for a magic pill? You guys trying to figure out what that is? The magic shake? The secret?
Fear of the unknown.
That's the fucking secret
right there. You know what the church said about courage, Pat? He said courage is the ability
to go
from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
That's the only secret.
Courageously hold on to your
all diets can work.
And not lose enthusiasm.
Some give you better nutrition than others.
In Los Angeles, all over the front
this
page
right
of the
here
newspaper, he just passed the bar after taking
Get off
it
your ass.
48 times. He had more than enough reason and excuses not to take it. His son has a law firm. He could have been a legal
All right, guys, I appreciate you being here. Those of you on Facebook for the first time, we'll probably be back on oaflife.com or the Oaf Life channel here on Facebook. We'll see you Monday morning at 7 a.m.
I didn't see that, but did they make a bigger deal about him passing as they did when he failed?
Peace.
No, you know why?